Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I was having a little bit of back feed earlier with the sound, so I want to make sure that you can hear me. But I'm so excited for today's sew along. There's been so much anticipation for me with the sew because it's just going to make you smile. But tell me if you can hear me. I see that I do have a few people here. So if you can say hello and just let me know that my sound is good, then we can move forward. But I want to make sure that I'm not getting any of that back feed that I had heard a little earlier. So let me know for sure that you can hear me. If you're new here, I will say this. If you're new here, it sounds good. Thank you, Sarah. Hi, Sibby. If you're new here, my name is Genevieve. Welcome to Thunderbird Handcrafted with Genevieve. This morning we are doing a live sew along for something that we collaborated with Woolly Petals. Her name is Kristen over at Woolly Petals. If you don't follow her, please go follow her. If you like quilty goodness, she does fun different quilty projects, but then she also has some fun stuffies, which I think we're probably in the new year going to do one of her other ones, which I'll share in a little bit. But I'm so excited that Kristen, when I reached out to her, I said, hey, we do something called a blind date sewing kit. And I would love to do your silly goose as one of the blind date sewing kits. And she was like, yes, awesome. And she offered a coupon code for the Goosey pattern. We do still have 6 of these kits left, so I'm going to show those first. And I do have the link. Let me grab it here. I have the link for it. This is the last 6. We have 6 of them left. But this is, if you're familiar with Blind Date with a Book, who's seen Blind Date with a Book? This is Blind Date with a Sewing Kit, but we usually tell you a little bit what's in it, just because, you know, when you're spending your money on something, I want you to know what you're getting. But this is our Blind Date Sewing Kit. So they also make great gifts. Like if you're someone who is in a quilting guild or have a quilting friend, our Blind Date Sewing Kits are great because they get the links to the patterns, usually discount code with the pattern, and everything they need to do to make what we say is the pattern. This one, the only thing you didn't get is the polyfill because that would be an awfully big package for me to wrap. But the Blind Date Sewing Kits are so much fun because we add a whole bunch of other little goodies, just like the Blind Date with a Book. So this Silly Goose pattern, you get a Silly Goose charm. So there's a pretty winter Silly Goose charm. You also get some Silly Goose Post-its. You get a bookmark, a Silly Goose bookmark. There's a little story in here, and then everything inside to make your silly goose, okay? So all wrapped up real pretty. So like I said, we have 6 of them left right now as I'm recording this video. We only have as many as we made. Once they sell out, you won't be able to get them anymore. But this is what it makes, okay? So inside, we have a 1.5 yards of white fleece. And the 1.5 yards will make both sizes. Good morning, Janetta. Both sizes of silly geese that are in the pattern, the Woolly Petals pattern, which I have right here. Okay, so you'll be able to make both of these. The link to the pattern is in the details of the video. But if you get the Blind Date Sewing Kit, you do get a coupon code for a discount on your pattern. I think this will be something, if you make this, you won't stop smiling the entire time that you're making it. I've made a few of them now, and every time I make it, it's such a fun sew. It's definitely one of those sews, like if you're struggling with your sew mojo, I think this one will definitely bring the joy back in your sewing. So you're going to get a 1.5 yards of this really beautiful white cotton fleece. This is an eco fleece that we get from one of our local suppliers here in Pennsylvania. So you're getting that, and it has just a soft, I feel like the kit, if you're getting the kit, even if the fabrics aren't your vibe, the kit is a great one to get, make the pattern, and then give it as a gift, because I feel like the colorways in the kit will go with pretty much anybody. and whoever you make it for is going to love it. If you have a grandma or an aunt or someone that you're not sure what to give them, make them a silly goose. How could they not smile? Okay. So you're going to get everything that you see here. So you also get 4 different feather fat quarters of our Kona cotton. Okay. So Janetta's made 5 and I have a couple more to make. They are addicting as well. Okay. They are addicting as well. I have 2 here that I'm working on, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, made out of tie-dye fabric. So if you've been hoarding my tie-dye fabric, this is a great pattern to use your tie-dyed fabric for. But anyways, in the kit, you're going to get 4 of my feathered designs. And then you're also getting 3 tie-dyed fat quarters. So ice dyed blue, yellow, and red. Okay. And today on this video, I'm going to show you and give you the measurements for the bow. Okay. So I know a lot of people are asking about that. The other thing you're getting is you're also getting the eyes. So I have 2 sets of eyes in the kit. And then you're also getting 2 of these woven labels, which we do have extras of these if you want some. But the little woven label says, "Here we go a-waddling," which is so wonderful. So here I'll put the link for the labels. We only have a few packs of the labels left. So if you want the labels, you can grab the labels. But the QR code also in the corner, if you want to scan that with your phone, you can scan that with your phone and that'll take you directly to the kits. Like I said, we only have 6 of them left. So in that kit, you're going to have enough to make 2 full, the 16-inch goose and the 20-inch goose. Okay. So today we're going to be making the 20-inch goose. But there is enough, I think, from that 1.5 yards to cut out another white 16-inch goose. I think you could get another white 16-inch goose just from after I cut mine out. There's not enough necessarily unless you didn't make a bow to make like everything else, but you have enough of white to make at least one more 16-inch goose. So that's what's in the kit. So get them while you can. But this is my 16-inch goose from the kit. Today we're going to be making, like I said, the 20-inch goose, which I'll share what we're using for that in a little bit. But I'm going to share with you, I have 2 other geese that I've made because like Janetta's saying, they're quite addicting. Katie, hi. I'm so excited to, you guys. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. If you bought one of my kits, please, when we're finished here, I know not everybody is a big Instagrammer, Facebooker, tagger, but do me a favor, because Kristen was so nice to allow us to share this pattern and to offer a coupon code for it. If you do have an Instagram account, please share your silly goose, tag me and tag Woolly Petals. Okay. I'll put her handle here. And if you don't have Instagram, just share it over in our Facebook group. Okay, over on Facebook, because I just want to see them. They make me so happy. So these next 2 I'm going to show you are actually gifts. I can't say who they're for. I hope they don't watch this. I don't think they watch. We don't watch each other unless we're sewing together. But the first one, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek of dyed fabric coming for December, which will release on December 10th, which is this Wednesday coming. So this is the Aurora. So it's called Polar Lights is the name of this dyed fabric. I just love them so much. I had this in my stash, which I felt went really well for the person that I'm gifting it to. And then I also used from the December Dynamic Fabric Kit, which I could post that as well. I use the caramel colored for the beak and the feet because I felt like it went really well with it. So here's the Hoot and Holidays. I think either of these, which you'll see in a second. So I need to still I have the bow cut out for this one. So we're going to make that bow. And then the other one, the other one I'm gifting is with the pink from the Hooten Holidays. And you can probably guess who this one is for. But hello, Sybil, who's here, loves flamingos. Hello, you could totally do a flamingo, right? So they're so wonderful. I'm going to show you some of the things that I do a little differently than what Kristen has done in her video, because she does have a video tutorial as well. If you just want to watch a tutorial and not hang out with me here while I'm chatty Cathy. But I'm excited to get sewing our silly goose. All right, so what am I doing for my silly goose? So we're doing, like I said, we're doing the larger one, doing the 20-inch one. Is anyone actually sewing a silly goose with me right now? Like you're going to sew it today with us? So what I did for my large one, because if you'll see for my smaller one, what I did was I just made like strips of the feathers, of the different colored feathers for the smaller wings. But for the larger wings, I did the squares of the different colored feathers and quilted them. And I just ironed them onto a piece of interfacing first. And then I just folded them and stitched them to create the checker. So I think it'll be really cute when it's done. So I have that. Obviously I have all of my fleece pieces. This is a big goosey. Has anyone made the 20-inch? This is my first one that I'm making. That is a 20-incher. So I have my fleecy here, which is super soft. And then I have all of my feet and legs and beak pieces here that I cut out of the yellow ice dyed fabric. So we'll get started. And we're going to save the bows for last, because I'm going to cut out, this one is going to get a red bow. And so we'll cut out the red bow together, and then we'll make up these bows as much as we can get done. Probably I'm going to try to make it that we're here till 1:30. And then I have to go pack orders, because we have lots of holiday pop-up shop orders to take care of. So thank you all. One thing that we still have available is we still have our wrapped up bundles. So if anybody missed out on them, or you want another one, now this is the wrapped up bundle is $75 worth of product, and you get it all wrapped up real pretty to put underneath your tree. But the big thing, which we're going to be using today, is the finger press turning tool that comes inside, that my son makes on his 3D printer. And so there's one of those, and there's 10 golden turning tools in all of them we made. I think we have 15 of these left. So if you get a golden turning tool and you post that you got a golden turning tool, you tag me, I'm going to be sending you a little extra something for the new year. So we still have, like I said, I think we have like 15 of these left. And like I said, it's $75 worth of sewing goodness, all wrapped up for you to put under the tree, because like DJ says, if he won't do it or she won't do it, we'll do it for you. We'll wrap it for you. So many of us end up wrapping our own gifts, and you just want one little surprise, right? So we still have a couple of those. So there's the link for them. And we do have gift cards too, if anybody's interested in gift cards. All right, so got to turn the iron on. I have a set over here with my Jasmine. This is my Bernina 475 QE. I have just plain cotton thread, white thread in, and my plain foot. And we're gonna get going on this. Now, the first thing that I'm gonna do, and I don't know if anybody else did this, can you come over and make all of my Christmas gifts? Just throwing it out there. Girl. I still have, so I have two everything but the machine totes to make, which actually one of them I'll be making, is it next Saturday that Sarah and Debbie, we're all going to go live together. That'll be a hoot. And we're going to sew everything but the machine tote together. So I have 2 of those to make, and I have a wallet to make. And I really want to make some more like Christmas decor type of things, but I don't know if that's going to happen, to be very honest. We're picking up the rest of the tea towels on Monday, so we have to cut all of those. We have to ship all of those. Pre-order also, last chance pre-order. Here's another link. Gosh, I don't necessarily want to make this salesy with you all, but there's so much going on. Pre-order is going on. So here's like just the main page of our website. If you scroll down, you'll see that last chance pre-order is happening, which is we have like 250 some designs that are retiring, and they won't be back for 2026. And so this is your last chance to pre-order them on any of our bases. We also do have book lover panels on pre-order with them as well, but none of our book lover panels are retiring. So it's mainly just the prints that are retiring. So that ends tomorrow. Tomorrow is your last day for last chance pre-order. So yes. As I'm sitting here, I have no motivation and I have so many gifts to sew. I feel like sometimes when we're putting so much pressure on ourselves to make handmade gifts, because either 1, we think that's what it is expected of us, or 2, it's kind of like that's what we can afford, right? And so we want to try to make all of those gifts. It can steal the joy. So one of the things that I would recommend, even though you feel like you have no time, is I would maybe go and cut something small out, like a book bestie or a little zipper pouch or something that you can feel like you got some reward out of it, and sew that, I'm grabbing some interfacing scraps here, you guys. Okay, so one of the things that I did a little different than what the pattern shares is I interfaced my beak, just because I feel like it gives your beak a little bit more structure to it, and it kind of makes it a little easier to sew as well. So I am interfacing my beak. And this is like the perfect thing to use some of those scrap pieces of interfacing. So that is what I'm doing. I throw all my little like pieces here because I don't have a heat press. That is something I almost broke down and got on Cyber Monday. I had it in my cart multiple times, but then I was like, you know what? I've gone this long. I have no place to put it. My sewing room is so small. Maybe when we get the studio done, like that will probably be when I bite the bullet on that. But until then, I can handle ironing things. So yeah. So I did not get that. So when I'm interfacing things, I always throw like the little extra scraps over to the side. And something like this is perfect to use up those scraps. So I'm just going to interface these. And I'm just going to trim this off. I love how this ice dyed yellow turned out because I feel like it just gives the feet and the beak like definition, which is fun. And this one I think I'm giving to my husband's grandmother for Christmas. I think she'll really like it. Okay, So now I have my beak. The other thing I want to add some interfacing because when we go and put the eyeballs on, I feel like having a little bit of interfacing there is really nice just to kind of keep that the eyeballs are like secure. So I'm just going to lay my white pieces down and iron the top a little bit here. I want to make sure, yeah, so this is this way. That is the one thing about this when you're used to cutting out bags, the mirroring of patterns. Make sure you read that. Okay. All right. And now I need to get my pattern piece and mark my eyeball and my wings. I bought a small also during the holiday weekend. Oh, a heat press. Cute. Yes. For making shirts. That's why that's not the 20-inch Goosey. That's the 16-inch Goosey. All right, hold on. We need the big girl. There we go. I had to order extra fill, and I usually just get like the polyfill, but this time it wouldn't have been here as fast because I made those tie-dye geese. What day was that? Thursday, I think. So I went on Amazon to like get some fill, and wait till you see how this fill came. It actually is really nice for a room that's really small. It's like it's vacuum. We'll see. Does it puff? Let's hope it puffs. Let's hope it puffs up. We'll see what happens because I have a little bit of my polyfill left. All right, so now I'm just going to take the reverse side, and I have where that mark is, and now I'm just going to cut just 2 squares so that I can put right where the eyeball is going to go. I'm going to iron a piece of interfacing there just so that when we punch our holes for our eyeball, that it works. Hi, Angela. How are you? So yeah, the polyfill, we're gonna say a prayer that it turns into something. Okay, so there's that. So now there's a piece of that there. I'm just gonna iron the rest of my goosey body here while we're at it. That way she looks nice when it's time, because we got to make our wings. I love this little iron. I don't use my big iron at all anymore since I got this. All right, before we go any further, mark for my wing. I love the ones, I haven't done this yet, but Kristen has on her channel, like the like blocked ones. I really like those. So I might make, for my Christmas one, I think I might make a blocked one. All right, so I have my mark for my wings on that piece. All right. last night, well, we got our tree yesterday. Yesterday I went into town, our hometown. We had like this little stroll in the grove, they called it. They've been doing it, I guess this was probably like the 4th year for it. But it's basically like all the small businesses in my hometown, they kind of set up and, you know, have things specifically like sales and things like that. And like special like food and stuff like that. All of like the baseball team and whatnot, like nonprofits set up and stuff. So my mother-in-law and I went into that yesterday. That's where I got my silly goose earrings, which are so fun. And we did some shopping. I was able to get I get my kids. So when my kids were little, we used to do like a Christmas ornament on Christmas Eve. But they have so many ornaments now. It was like literally like taking over. And so I was like, I guess it was like 2 years ago, I decided to switch it up and get them a mug each year. Especially since they're in college, like it was nice for them to get a mug. And so I found a mug for my daughter and for her boyfriend. But I still, I don't know. I haven't found one for my son. My son's the harder one to shop for. So I'm still looking for him, but I was glad I was able to get 2 pieces of pottery, like really nice from a local business, local artists in our area. So I got those. I got more earrings from my teacher friend. That's who makes them. What else did I get? Got some honey from a local, what do we call those? The word is leaving me. I'm just going to press this real quick. Because we're going to do these next. Apiary? Apiary? That's what they're called, right? So, all right, we're going to make our wings. So our wings are just sandwiched. So I have a piece of quilt batting. All right. This is one Joann's purchase that when I need it again, is when I'm really going to miss Joann's. So I have a huge roll of quilt batting because I used to make, it's actually the first video on my channel, I think. The like circle floor pillows. Sarah, that's a great pattern. And if you're looking for something as a gift, it's also a great gift, even for littles. Pretty easy to pull together too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay stitch my quilt batting to my wings. Hi, Cat. Cat's making a patriotic goosey. I can't wait to see it finished. Oh, it's Julie. Julie. I was like, wait a second. I see Alderman now. I should have realized it was you. I feel like there's so many different variations you can make with this goosey. All right, so I have my wings and my beak and my feet. That's what we're gonna work on first. But let's see. I should probably look at the pattern, even though I just made these. You know, this is when you make mess ups. Let's start with the beak first. And I want to. The biggest thing about the beak is that there's 2 different pieces. There's your top of your beak and your bottom of your beak. So just make sure that you know which is which. So I thought, yeah. So the bottom is the small and the bottom is the small, yeah. And the top is the bigger one. So I'm just going to clip these together. And what I did is I just clipped one side because you're kind of like, because it doesn't fit exactly, you know. So I just clipped one side and then stitched that side and then moved it so that it met, you know. So we're going to do that first. Is anybody sewing anything other than a silly goose? What else is on the cutting tables today? All right, and then I'm just gonna meet this where it needs to be now and come up the other side. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my scissors. I'm just gonna around the curve. I'm just gonna cut like little groove, little cuts so that when it turns nice. And this is where your finger press turning tool comes in handy. Okay. And then you could iron it if you want. I mean, I just kind of usually finger press, but we'll iron for today. Okay. And then I'm going to top stitch just 1/8 of an inch around the edge from the top to kind of give the beak some definition. Okay, our little beaky. And we're going to set the beak aside, and then we're going to grab our feet. So we want to lay those out. So we have 2 feet. I didn't interface these at all. I just ironed them, make sure they look nice. Yeah, let's hope we have enough of stuffing. Like for the small ones, I just had, what size is this? This is a 20 ounce. So that pretty much did 2 small ones. Oh, you're making dog bandanas. That's wonderful. We'll say this is a very beginner friendly. It totally is. It totally is a very beginner friendly pattern. I agree. All right. So now we're just going to take a leg and a foot. Kristen has, you can skip the leg if you want. But I personally like that it has the cute dangly feet. So, I think you stick with the legs, but that's just me. So I'm just going to clip a leg to each of my feet. Oh, our rooster's crowing. He doesn't sound too good this morning. He sounds a little hoarse. All right, so now I'm just going to stitch my legs onto my feet. Nope, I should bring my clip those off. And now I'm going to iron these. That one side is, so you guys can see, I'm going to iron that one side is down and one side is up. Okay. That way, when I put these together, the seams will lay nice. So that's what I'm going to do now. So these will go down. And these will go up. Okay. And now we're just going to take these, take one of each, all right, and we're going to just sandwich those together. I'll put clips right at my leg and foot seam area. I think because these are bigger, I'm going to put a clip down here at the bottom too. Okay. All right. And now we're just going to go all the way around. Okay, there's one. Seriously, how stinking cute. I do remember, and Kristen says this in her video, my Nana, I'm pretty sure my Nana made a goose, like a stuffed goose like this. Like there was either a macaw's pattern, like there was a pattern back in the 80s that everybody made stuffed geese. And Kristen said she had tried a bunch of different ones and really didn't like the way that they laid at the end. And so that's why she decided to do this one. And she did a really good job. I really love how it ends up. Okay, so now we have our 2 feet. Okay. Oh, new Janome for embroidery. Nice, Julie. Holiday whips the complete. Yep. All right. So now I'm just going to take my scissors and just around that bottom, around the flipper. we're just going to clip a little bit so that it turns nice and lays nice. All right, now these are probably easier than the littles. We're going to turn our feet around. Our little tool. one flipper. We used to have running ducks when my kids were little. If you've not seen a running duck or know what a running duck is, it's the ones that have a really long neck that are kind of like standing up. They're so funny. We used to have running ducks and mallards. We had mallard ducks too when they were little. And it was so funny because the mallard girl duck fell in love with the male runner duck. And the male mallard duck was like, no, this is not happening. He would chase the male running duck all the time. Like the male runner duck was never clean because he was always like being chased and hiding someplace because the male mallard was so nasty. We haven't had ducks in a while. Maybe next year we'll get ducks again. They're fun to watch. Also, the duck eggs are great for baking, if you didn't know that, because they have a lot more moisture to them. They're really great for baking. Now that my daughter's home and she's the baker. So, all right, we're going to iron these. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of our wild Muscovy ducks. I don't know. I think I know what they look like. Are they gray? Muscovy ducks? All right, I have way too much here, so I'm just gonna put, well, maybe not. Let's shove this down in here because this is a bigger flipper. The other thing that's great about this turning tool is that this piece here, the finger press piece, is great to shove and flatten your fluff around. I really used it a lot for that. Okay, so now you kind of want your flipper to have stuffing at the bottom there, but kind of be flat. Like you don't want too much because we're gonna have to sew over it. So kind of use that. You have something to kind of like flatten it a bit. And then on the pattern, she does have markings. I just eyeballed it, but she does have markings of where to put your lines. And I just did my center line first and then did my others. So I'm going to put stuffing in my other one here and then we'll do that. What's up, Apollo? What are you doing, buddy? He's down at the door. Oh, I think he wants to get out. I wonder if someone's here. My mother-in-law said she was coming. Hold on, buddy. All right, I kind of got a little too much in there, but I moved it up towards the top here. But I need some in this little corner over here, I think. Okay. Let me go let the puppers out. Okay. Hold on. Go. I don't know. I think the kids must have been making something, or if there's food involved, he'll be out of here. Okay. So now we're gonna make our line to the middle. We're gonna make that a little bit higher, and then 2 lines to make their little feet. All right. So I kind of just started, like I got my needle in there. And this is more, so we'll see. it's so stinking cute. Like I said, this is a good, joyful sew. Come on. I just kind of gauged where I end up. I don't think it needs to be perfect. I think having them a little off is fine, but if you want to follow the lines, you can. I clip my threads off here. Okay. There's one little footsie. Oh, here's another thread. Now we're going to do this one. And there we have it. Some little ducky feet, little goosey feet. We're going to add some more stuffing just to get the, and you want most of your stuffing, you don't want it to be up in your leg. You want it to be, and that's, the turning tool is good here too, because I can push some more of that stuffing down in the two sides. I'll put a little bit more in here. Just to fluff up the foot. Okay. All right, there's one. Make the bow and sew it as a closure of the cape. So Kristen does have a witch hat for the goose, and she just made a little Christmas tree hat for the goose. So I think if you go over, it might be on her Instagram. I don't know if that's on her Etsy or not. But she does have some little accessories for it. Okay. We got our feet. All right, now we're going to do our wings. All right, so I have my wings here. I'm just going to stay stitch all around. Actually, I don't really need to do that. We can just turn everything as it is, I think. So we're just going to sandwich this, our quilted piece, in with the quilt batting and with some of the fleece. So, and remember, when you're cutting these out, you want to make sure you're doing your mirrored images so that it works. Okay. Now we're just going to go around. You want to leave an opening at the bottom of your your wing to be able to turn it. Yeah, he must have heard somebody or something. Make sure that I got everything. Do the other one. Oh, I'm running out of, might be running out of bobbin. What are you doing down here, Jasmine? Let's see what's happening. She must have just been stuck. I wonder if she needs to be oiled. Okay, so now I want to just clip around my turns here. And like every place that you have like the little indent for the wings, I like went into the corner there. That makes them turn nice. We didn't decorate our tree yet. I was hoping to do that tonight before we take my son back to college. He has finals this week. Last night, because I didn't feel that great. We were going to decorate it last night, and then after I made dinner, I don't know if I woke up too early yesterday. I was up pretty early yesterday morning to close out the pop-up shop. And then I couldn't go back to sleep. So I just sat on the couch and worked on new designs for 2026, which I think you're going to love them. Your daughter just finished her finals. Oh, make a Santa hat and a cape. That would be fun. Yeah. He feels pretty good from what he's saying. He said his only class that he doesn't like, that he's been struggling to an extent. But when my son says he's struggling, it's a different, like if my daughter said she was struggling, I'm like, oh, are you failing a class? My son, when he says he's struggling, is like, I have a C and it's a high C. Like they just have very different definitions of what the struggle means with school. So, but what's the name of the class? It's a math class. Not trig. What's the other one that goes with trig? I wouldn't know because I didn't take those classes. Shoot. It's on the tip of my tongue. Anybody help me? Trig. Anywho, that class is the one that he's like nervous about. But all the other ones he seems to be okay with. And this is going to be a little harder with quilting this to make sure everything is tucked in here on that edge. My daughter had to take 3 math classes, but she is finally done with them. Yeah, he has a lot of math because he's in computer science. What is the name of this math? It's not statistics. It goes with trig. I know that. All right. So one of my wings, I'm going to tuck my little woven label in. So there's the little woven label. Can you see it? There you go. It says here we go waddling. So I'm just going to tuck that in the one side here so that that'll be in the one wing. Calculus. Thank you, Sherry. That's it. This is pre-calc, which he had pre-calc in high school. But next semester he has full calc, I guess. And he said he thinks he's going to go get a tutor just because he's known some of this, but he's like, it definitely, there was parts that he struggled with. So he is the kid, though, that would go ask for help, where my other child, it took a very long time to teach her. Like, no one does anything on their own. Like, we either learn it from someone, like, to not struggle in silence. So, but he's always been the one to be like, go ask for help. He's never been afraid to do that. So I think he'll be fine. But he said that he's a little nervous about next semester. So we'll see what happens. I always say to them, I'm like, C's get degrees. Just do your best. As long as you're doing your best, that's all you can do. All right. Let me iron that down. These are so cute, quilted. I love it. Ooh, cute little checkered feathers. It took some time, but it was worth it. It was worth it. Okay. And now we're gonna clip these in place. All right, and we're going to top stitch them. I'm going to go in a little bit further than on my last ones. Well, sort of, I think, just because there's a lot of bulk in here and I don't want to break a needle. So, and of course, my thread. Unthreaded the needle. Oh, maybe that's what it was. I hate when that happens. I should have bought all that Gutermann thread that I was going to buy on Black Friday, but I didn't. I have, what is this thread called? The all-purpose thread that has a little like slit in the side of the spool, and it always gets stuck on that little slit, and then it becomes pain in the rear end. All right, move these clips out of the way. Make sure I'm catching all of this. Who watched my handcrafted trend report prediction for 2026? This week was wild with the Pantone color. Ah! Don't break. Oh, you didn't. Good. We're gonna crank you. There we go. There's some pretty big seams here. The one trend prediction that I thought was really interesting from Fashion Week was that feathers, and I think feathered friends, I think like birds, I think we're going to see a lot of that because there was a lot of styling with feathers and birds on both Fashion Weeks, London and New York. So I think we're going to see a decent amount of them. There we go. My kid graduated in August with a computer science degree, but game design. Yeah, my son's is computer science, data science focused. And then he's also getting his secondary education degree. So hopefully they find jobs. I don't think I'm going. So the pattern does have, and did I do it on this one? Yeah, I did do it on this one. So the pattern does have, just like we did on the feet, places to put like lines to kind of make it look like a wing. But I feel like because this is so checkered. Oh, is my camera like all fuzzy on your guys' end? Because it looks that way on my iPad. Hopefully it's not that way for you guys, but because it's not that way on here on StreamYard, but maybe it's coming through that way. But anyways, so I don't think I'm going to do it on the large one because I have so much going on here. I'm just going to do the outline. Hump right here. Come on. We're gonna need to crank this baby. Come on. No, I knew that little area when I cut it, Even I was like, oh, that area is going to be a pain. Oh, it has it all junked up underneath, of course. Uh-oh. We have a coyote that keeps coming down to our other chickens. My father-in-law just... Yeah, we do have coyotes here on the farm. Oh, no, that made me nervous. Come on. I can't believe I haven't broke a needle. You can do it. You can do it. Okay. All right. So there's that. The back doesn't look too bad, and it's white thread. No one's going to see that. Everything looks like it was caught. There are our wings. Our wings. All right. Now we have to position them on our goosey. So we're going to position our wings. We're going to get our eyeballs on. And then we're going to start putting her together. So I have my little mark where my wing is going to go. Okay. And then we're going to take some pins. I'm just going to use one pin to like pin her in place. And then I'm just going to be stitching. Actually, I should pin it down here further. It's not my way. I'm just going to stitch. Kristen has just to do this little part. I found if I started here and it kind of made sure that my wing was going to stay flat. So there's one. Sit in there. And now we're going to lay out the other one. Make sure it looks good. Okay. And now we're going to do the same. I'm going to start here and like kind of come over to here. So we have both of our wings on. Now let's get our eyeballs. So the eyeballs, I just bought my eyeballs off of Amazon. These are, let's see what size. These are 12 millimeter eyeballs. I do have the link in the details if you want to grab them. You can make lots of goosies. My daughter also crochets, so she used to make like crochet like dolls and things like that. So you could use them for that too. So eyeballs. And then I'm going to use my Hulk puncher since I marked it and I put my little piece of interfacing there. I just don't want to use a big hole. So I'm just going to make a small hole. Boy, that rooster's still really crowing. If there's something out there, that's probably why. Okay. And then I'm going to get my eyeballs that were part of my kit. Like I said, in the kit, you're getting four eyeballs, 2 sets. And the way the eyeballs work is they are screw-in eyeballs. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you can just push it through. Make sure there's eyeballs on there, and then you're going to just take this little cap that goes in the back, and you're going to push the little eyeball in. Okay. I think Kristen has that you cut the eyeballs out and sew them on. That was too much for me. So I made it that we're gonna put eyeballs in it. So there we go. So there's our other eyeball. So now we have our 2 sides of our goose. All right. And now we're gonna piece this girl together. So she's a big old girl too. She's a big girl. All right, so we're gonna clip from the top here. Okay. She's gonna be cute though. I'm so excited. I know the white isn't fancy and fun, but I do think just the softness of the fleece is so nice. And I do still have some of this fleece, so if you guys want me to tie-dye some fleece for next summer, we'll tie-dye some fleece, and then we'll release it at Christmas time to make some silly goose again together. I do think this makes it like if you're going to give it to somebody, especially like a kid, you're going to give a goose, the softness of the fleece is nice too. And then down here, you want to leave an opening so that we can turn her the right side. Okay. And then you got to make sure your wings are in here. Okay. This was also fairly fast pattern to cut out too. You know, like it doesn't take a ton of time to pull it together, which is nice. All right, so now I have her all clipped. Now we're gonna sew. I'm gonna start down here and just make a little area here. We're gonna skip our little V, gonna come around. We're gonna leave open our area for a beak and then go down and around. Okay. was looking the other day at feet for Nina. I think I want to get the little, the pin, what do you want to call it? It's like a pin hem foot. I want to get that foot for her because when I was hemming the tea towel, I was like, oh, that would be nice to have that foot. But I am going to do a video to show how to do like nice corners on a tea towel. So that'll be coming out this month for everybody who doesn't plan on doing anything but hemming up your tea towel that you got from us. We probably will have a little, I think we might have a couple extra, but we did like what I knew I was getting. I ordered a little bit extra. I guess I should say I ordered a little bit extra in case somebody missed it. But not many. I think maybe like 10 or 12 is what I have extra. But I'm excited to see what people do with them or everybody who gifts them. Going around that little goosey butt. What is that? Oh, it was someone's coming for a visit, my broom. Okay, so now we have our goose all hemmed up here. All right, so now I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to clip a little bit of like here under her neck. I'm just going to clip some small. You could use a pinking shears if you wanted to. My pinking shears is downstairs, so I never have it to use it in my sewing room. Probably should just buy another pair. But just around some of those turns, do a couple. Okay, now we're going to get our beaky. Okay, remember your top is your bigger one. And we're going to take our beak and we're going to stick it in like so. We're going to find that top tip corner. I should do this under here for you guys. So we're going to find where our top seam is and the point. Okay. And I'm just going to put a pin there like so to hold it in place. Okay. And then I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to do the same to the bottom. I'm going to find my seam at her neck and the tip on the bottom part of the beak. And I'm going to put a pin there too. Now you could find these center parts here once you have it like this, but I personally like to not do that on the little ones, but maybe, well, we'll see how it goes. I'll put a pin here. And I put like, you know how we top stitch the beak? I turn it so that it's pointing up. If you put it that it's turning down, then it's almost like the beak looks like, my one dyed one kind of looks like, it reminds me of like the Kermit face. What is going on? My camera always goes out on my phone while I'm trying to show you guys something. Let's see if we go out. Are we good? Right as I was showing you something. Right? Right as I was showing you something. Janetta says she used a little bit of double-sided tape to help hold the beak. That's smart. So again, I just pinned the top of the beak here. pin the top of the beak here. But hey, bag makers, double-sided tape would work too. And you wouldn't be stabbing yourself. So now we're just going to sew. I'm going to put my needle down right at the top of the beak. Like so. I'm going to pull that one needle out. And I'm just going to follow it till I get to that other needle. I'm going to do a little back stitching. I also feel like the fleece for your first ones, it does have a little bit of stretch to it, so it actually is pretty nice for this part, because the ones I made with the dyed fabric, I didn't have, I feel like the double-sided tape would probably be, that would have been really good to do. So just a okay, now I'm gonna do this last little piece here. Okay, so now our beaky is on there. And now we're going to, I'm trying to remember, I think I turned them, I did. I turned her right side out to do my feet because it helped me make more sense of it. Okay, so I'm going to turn, take a look at her little face. Oh, she's so cute. I just feel like you can't not smile. Oh, lovely. All right. Bring her out here. Make sure I caught everything. Okay. Okay. All right. So here's where your feet, we're going to take our feet. I want to find which is the right sides. And what I did is I kind of took it and I flipped it like through her butt hole that I have open still, like so. All right. And then that way it allowed me to make sure when I put my feet in here that the feet were going to be, when it was laying, that it was like the top of my stitches. So if it matters, we're just going to put those, I'm going to clip the feet in place. Right next to each other. Find my edge here. And now we're just going to stitch across there and secure our feet. Okay, and now pull our feet through. And now we're going to stuff her. All right, so, oh my gosh, just wonderful. I'm going to use the rest. We're gonna cross our fingers because this is all I have of my original polyfill. So the most important part of this when you're stuffing it is her neck. You want to really stuff a lot into her neck area, because that will keep her neck like staying stiff. And that's literally like all that did was go into her head. I'm gonna get my turning tool here to help move some into the beak area. Their little faces are just too much. Oh my gosh. All right. So fingers crossed, you guys. Let's see. Let's hope. I have 4 of these. So let's hope that it maybe. Maybe if we give it some life. I'm going to set it here, because maybe if we fluff it a little on its own. I have 4 of them, so. I think we should be okay. It is a little denser, so maybe even for her neck, it'll be better. I used to have a big box like of the polyfill I got. I mean, I always can grab some fabric scraps or something, but you kind of want to like squish her around to make sure she doesn't look lumpy. I don't know. Let's hope. It is easier to stuff the big one's neck because you can really get in there. Oh, no one's come to my birdhouse yet. My bird feeder. If you saw over on Instagram, I got my window bird feeder. No one's here yet. It probably takes a while for them to find it though, right? You bought a 50-ounce bag at Walmart. Why do I hear Apollo barking outside? It didn't sound like a nice bark. Well, I think one thing is going to do the neck. Almost. All right, we're getting there. I think we'll have enough. Kind of want to also, I don't know if you, Janetta, if you found this, but like this front area, you want to really kind of make sure that that part gets stuffed pretty nice because that helps them sit nice. And the butt. I think I still need another one, but we're getting there. Made a little bean bag with them. Yes, I got pellets too. I'm gonna, because I did use pellets to like give her some weight. So I'm gonna make a little pouch to put some pellets in as well. I just want to make sure that she's pretty well stuck here before I do that. Okay, I think, yeah, I think she's good. Now I'm gonna make my little pouch for my pellets. So all I did, I took a piece of the fleece. So I have 2 pieces here that were just like scraps left over. So I'm just gonna make a little, just gonna fill around 3 sides here. You especially want to do this if you're using the pellets, then you have animals or kids. You want to make sure that there's at least something to keep the pellets from going everywhere. All right, so now I have my little pouch. Okay, and then these are the stuffing pellets that I got. I know there's a lot of different brands of them. I don't know if I put this link in the details, but I'll make sure that it's there. So we're gonna just put some of these little stuffy pellets. I saw there's a new, someone just came out with it. I saw people were sharing it. A little like pin cushion. What in the world? Phone. Why? All right, so I'm just still putting little pellets in my pouch. Add a little bit more weight to her butt. Okay. And then I'm just gonna stitch this across. And now I have like a little pellet pouch. And now I'm gonna stick that right there where I'm gonna close her up. So I'm just gonna pin this for now. And we're gonna make, I'll hand stitch this tonight. But we're gonna make her bow. Okay. There she is. So far. You want to see her next to the 16-inch one so you guys can kind of gauge. There's the difference in how big they are. They're so cute. All right. I'll close on my pellet so we don't have that debacle happen. We don't need little pellets everywhere. All right, and I'm going to use my red dyed fat quarter to make the bow. So we're going to go over to the cutting table and I'm going to give you the measurements. So let me just clean up some stuff here. Put my pattern pieces away. I'm going to turn you guys so you can see me over here at the table. All right. So the bow is not part of Kristen's pattern, but I thought we needed a bow. So, and the bow looks so good with some dyed fabric and really good for the holiday. Now, I had a paper here. I have my measurements for my bow. And now we need to find that. Oh, I see it. All right. So, You only need a fat quarter to make the bows. All right, so here's my red fat quarter. All right. And I need my ruler and my rotary cutter. All right, so you're going to need for your body of your bow, all right? You put yours in a sandwich baggie? That's so smart, Kate. That's so smart. No, so the legs, did I make the legs long? So I added the legs. So there's a pattern for the feet and a pattern for legs. I like having the legs on here because once they sit, you know, it kind of makes that their legs, like the one that was up, my other one I had, her legs are crossed. So this is in the pattern. You just don't put any fill in these, okay? All right. All right, so the first piece we're going to cut is a 19 by 4.5. Okay, so 19 by 4.5 piece. All right, and that's your the tails of your bow. Okay, so we're gonna cut one of those. All right. Or no, this is your body of your bow. Excuse me. So 19 by 4.5. All right. Then we're going to do 2 that are 4 by 22. So 4 by 22. And that's pretty much like what your fat quarters are. But so 4 by 20. Oh, I keep doing that. I need to get some of my grippy stuff for this ruler. This ruler is just, it slips and slides all the time. All right, so we need 2 of those. And then we're going to need 2 8 by 2s. All right, so 2 8 by 2. So I'm just going to do a 16 and cut it in half. So 2 by 16, and then you can cut it in half. And this is going to be for the center and then to tie it around the neck. Okay. So I'll give that to you again. So you need, for your body of your bow, you need a 19 by 4.5. For the tails of your bow, you need 4 by 22, 2 of those. And then for your center and to wrap it around their neck, you need 2 8 by 2s or 1 2 by 16, and then cut it in half. Okay. Okay, you were asking I don't know, I feel like they sit on the desk pretty cute, but that's up to you. I feel like if I did put just the feet, you would want to make sure that they're not overly stuffed, because where your feet are going to go, you know what I mean? Up to you. All right. So now we also need batting. All right, so you need your quilt batting. All right, or you could use whatever leftover fleece you have in your kit. All right, and then we're going to need a 9.5 by 4.5. Okay. So I need a 9.5 by 4.5. I need one 4x22. And when I'm done with this, I'll make sure that these measurements are also in the details of the video. And I'm going to make a video just by itself of the bow too, so you guys have it. All right. So now, just trim these edges here. And that piece, and this piece, and these. All right, we're gonna come over to our iron. Now, I'm gonna move our geesies. Guys, come sit over here. Okay. And I'll tilt you guys this way, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. All right, first we're going to do is we're going to take these two pieces and we're going to fold them in just like we would a piece of binding, okay? And we're going to iron them. There's one. There's two. Okay. And then this is where I took double-sided tape and I put it in the center. Okay. We're just going to do one for now, but one of them for sure, you're going to have double-sided tape. All right. Now, let me iron this girl. Okay. We're going to put this in the center. And this is a little big, I think. Yeah. Because I didn't clip off the edge here. All right, so we're going to put it in the center like so. And we're going to meet these together like that. And I'm just going to clip it on either side. Like so. Okay, we're going to set that aside. And now I'm going to iron these so that they look good. This ice-dyed fabric turned out so flowy. I'm telling you, it's so good. I really got very pretty. Okay. All right, so now we're going to also sandwich this like this. Okay. We're going to leave an opening on the one end to be able to turn it. Okay. And I'm going to find a ruler wherever I put my rulers. No idea. No idea. No idea. I'll take this ruler. Okay. And we're just going to draw two opposite slants. So one side, I'm going to draw the slant this direction. And the other one, well, the same direction. Sorry. And then one I'm going to do this direction. Okay. And now we're going to stitch. So this piece, okay, this piece here, I'm going to start, remember, I'm going to leave an opening so I can turn it. So I'm going to start this piece here. We're going to come down to where we drew our line, follow our line, go around, okay? Now, if you were doing this with printed fabric, you would want to make sure that your wrong sides are facing your batting. But since dyed fabric doesn't have a right or wrong side, at least the Kona doesn't, it doesn't matter. Okay, and now we're just going to trim the excess off here. Okay, and we're going, wait a second. Did I do this wrong, you guys? Shoot! I did do it. Your dyed red should have been on top of your other dyed red. You guys, every time I try to do something fun, that's all right. It's not that big of a deal. We can fix it. Everything is fixable. I hope that's what is learned the most from my channel. All right, we're gonna fix this, but you know what? Let's do another one. All right, I already have other. Just so you know, your red should have been on top of this. Okay, your red should have been on top of this. Let's make another one. I have more cut out. I will make one for my other tie-dyed one. All right, so here are our pieces. There's that. I'll do the red one for my video. Okay. We're going to fix it. Where are we at here? All right. So the way this works, again, iron your stuff so it looks nice and crisp. All right. This is some more dyed fabric from December, so I get to show you that. Okay. So here we are. Iron our pretties. Okay. Then we're going to take our batting. There's our batting. Okay. And we're going to lay one piece like this. So this piece would be right side up. All right. If you are using printed fabric. Okay. This piece will be right side facing. Okay. If you're using printed fabric. All right. Now I'm going to take my ruler. All right. And then I'm going to draw my lines. There's my one end and my other end. Okay. Like so. We're going to clip. Should have stopped myself because I know better. And I even said about the printed fabric. That was my cue to like remember. All right, there we go. So we have our batting on the back. Our first piece of fabric is print is facing up. Okay. Second piece of fabric, print is facing down. Now, I'm going to stitch this around like so. Forgetting the turn here. Okay, now I'm going to clip this around. Now when you turn it, one side, your batting will be in the center. So we're going to turn it. Push our corners out. Okay. Okay. And now we're just going to iron this little part closed. Jeez. Just gonna clip those. Okay, and you could top stitch all the way around this if you wanted. I'm just gonna close that up. Okay. So there's that piece. That's for your tails. Now, I'll just show you with, well, I'll show you with this one, I guess. All right, so now we have our piece for the bow part. This is cotton sateen that I dyed. So that does have a side to it. So one side will have like a little bit of a sheen to it. The other side is like actually a little fuzzy. So I want to make sure that I'm putting the right side to the top. So your print side would be facing you. Then you're going to put your batting, and then you're going to fold your batting in to meet itself. Try to center it as best you can. And now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch along both sides here. Okay, and now that we have that, we have this opening that's here, right? Did I do this wrong? You guys, I did do the same thing. I made a bunch of these before this, you guys. That's wrong. Told you the wrong thing. Good thing I'm making a separate video that I can edit out when I'm wrong. All right, wrong. Batting. your print face up, fold it in on itself like this. Not enough coffee, you guys. Not enough coffee. All right, now we're doing this. I'm gonna have two direct parts. That with the batting on the other one. So it is what it is. Now, all right, we're going to turn it right side out now. All right, and now we're going to fix the other two that we made so we can do the rest. Push these out. Let me just iron that flat. So we're going to make two bows because I couldn't get one right. All right, so there's that one. Let's let's begin to take this apart. I could just clip it, but we're going to make one all the way through perfectly. And then all of my bows will be done. What do you think? Let's make that the goal for today. Okay. Here's one side of this one. So be careful. The sateen is kind of a delicate, it's cotton sateen, so it does have some structure to it, but it will rip if you're not too careful. There we go. Okay. Now the other side. Okay. And now this side. Not too bad. Trying to go too fast. That's what happens whenever I like try to rush myself. Anybody else? There's no need to rush. There's no rush. What are we rushing around for? Okay. All right. So we have our batting. Let me re-iron this baby again. She needs it. Okay. So I'm going to put that down like so. Put that like that. There. Okay. I'm going to stitch both sides here. And there went my thread. What the heck? So now we're going to turn this one. Make sure those corners are, because this is like your main part of your bow. So you just want to make sure that your corners look good. And we're going to iron this down. Okay. There's that one. All right. So now here, these are our smaller, our 2-inch pieces. So I'm going to iron this one. Do the same here. My double-sided tape for one piece. Okay, so I'll show you guys on this one first. So this one here, all we're going to do, like I'm going to fold it in the center like so, and then fold it back like so. Okay, it gives it a nice pretty bow look. Thread here. Okay, then I'm going to do the same with this, and I usually put the, you can lay them together if you want. Maybe it would be better if I show you from here. Let's see. Let's see if this would make it easier. Okay, so I have my ribbon bottom, ribbon top, okay? And we're just gonna pinch this together like so, okay? And then this is why I used a double-sided tape. You're not gonna use this whole piece. Come on. Okay. But you can then I folded this over like so, and now I'll add another piece of double-sided tape there. After I put this one in here, because that's going to go around my Goosey's neck. So I'm going to put my double-sided tape here. I have that one there. And I just want to make sure that that's secure like that. Okay. And then you can like turn these down and fluff them like this direction, because then that way they'll lay like so. And you can play with your bow to see. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put double-sided tape on this side. I'm going to fold my raw edge in. And then I'm going to do the same over here just with a small piece. Oop, losing it. Okay. And now, let me get my Goosey that this bow goes on. Okay. So now we're going to take our Goosey and we're going to just take that double-sided tape piece. All right. We're going to get another little piece. To put on the back of his neck here so that his bow stays in place. We have another little sliver. And there you go. Goosey has a pretty bow. You can play with it to arrange it. But there's one bow done. Okay, so let's get this other red bow done, and then we can see all the geese. All right. So again, let's go through this one more time. And don't do like I did. Don't sandwich your quilting batting in between. We're going to put one side you know what? We're just going to clip it out, you guys. We're going to clip it out as close as we can get. We're not ripping it. Heck with that. Take too long. And it's going to be a little thinner. We'll see how it looks. So batting, print facing up if you have a print, print facing down, okay? Oh, broke a clip. All right. And now we're gonna stitch this. I don't want you to be touching my machine or you guys will be shaking the whole time. There we go. the, I don't know why would my top thread is probably caught on this. Oh, makes me wanting to spend money on Gooderman thread because this all-purpose stuff keeps breaking. But I have it, so we're using it. Also, I forgot to say this, but thank you to everybody who was sharing that I was on their list of watched YouTube videos. That was very nice. I didn't even know they did that. Is that something new this year? You don't want to know mine. I mean, I'll tell you mine. Mine had, I listened to, or a lot of those like fireplace places that are on YouTube. I have those on. Music is usually, and tech videos. I come to YouTube to watch tech videos. I watch some sewing, but you know, I don't know why. I don't like. I'm busy. When I'm not doing YouTube, it's usually like when I'm not doing stuff for the business, it's usually like something to zen me. All right. So we got this one. It's a little thinner, but I think it's still gonna look good. All right, we have to tuck these in to the center here and stitch that closed. And get that pointed out a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so we're going to lay this down. Now we're going to lay this down, and we're going to bring it in like so. Oh, I think it's still going to be cute, even though it's a little thinner. All right, and then take our double-sided tape. We're going to put that to the back. And then we have our piece that goes around her neck, like so. And that there. Need a piece of double-sided tape. Okay. these little threads. All right. Fluff up the bow. Kind of position these. You could take, like, if you wanted to take your needle and thread and kind of like hand stitch these sides down if you wanted to. Today's my daughter's birthday and I have been back and forth with this video all day and my hand mixer broke. So, oh, Mary, I'm sorry. That stinks. Happy birthday to your daughter, though. Okay, so now I'm going to put double-sided tape on this end. And fold my raw edge in. Double-sided tape on this end. Fold my raw edge in. Another little piece just to secure it. Okay, let's get our big Goosey. So here she is. We're gonna put her bow. Oh, look at her and her bow. Oh. Okay, and then we're gonna wrap that around that way. Take our double-sided tape off. And now I'm using, like, I use Sailrite double-sided tape, so it's pretty heavy duty. But like I said, you could, like, tack stitch your tails of your bow if you wanted to, but they're too much. They're just too much. Oh my gosh. Someone take a screen. And of course, this side. That's because I took it off of this. I'm here talking to myself about these beautiful, silly geese. We have sound now. Oh my gosh. All right, so here's our 20-inch beautiful Goosey, okay, from the kit. They're so good. All right, so there's the one. Stay standing here. I have her on a slant, so there we go. Here's our 16-inch silly Goosey. So those came in the kit. All right, so you can make these two geese exactly in the kit. So here's the link. We only have 6 more of these kits left. Okay, and they do come with a do we still not have sound? Do we still not have sound? Hopefully we have sound now. We have sound now? It's because I took my phone off. My phone kept going dark. So these two, you can do these two with the blind date sewing kit. Oh, throwing things. So here's the blind date sewing. We have 6 left. Okay. And it does come with the coupon code for the Woolly Petals pattern. Thanks to Kristen over at Woolly Petals. You get a little Goosey bauble and all sorts of other goodies, but it comes with everything except for your polyfill and if you wanted to do the stuffing pellets. Okay, so those are the only two things that it doesn't come with. Like I said, they're super fun, and I feel like these in the colorways they are would be great gifts because, it's kind of more neutrally spring, okay, but or holiday because their bows are just so happy. Oh my! I love the 20-inch one. Now that the 16-inch one is really cute, but the 20-inch one definitely makes a statement. so this they come in the kit, and there's enough of the white fleece in here to cut out another white fleece 16-inch. So you would have enough with a little bit of your stash then to do 3. Okay. Janetta, it looks like you need to make the big goose. I completely agree with you. You need to cut one out. Okay. And if you've been stashing dyed fabric, you need to make a tie-dye goose because hello. And this is the Polar Lights dyed fabric releases on the 10th of December in this month. Okay. Pose with the geesies again. Are you taking pictures? Because I'm standing here silly. You guys are awesome. I love you so much. I hope that you had a silly goose time with me this morning. Okay. I hope that you'll go make this and enjoy it, smile a bit, even if you make some mistakes. It's a really great pattern. And definitely meant to make you smile. We will be doing more Woolly Petals patterns in 2026. I have some fun things planned. So definitely stay tuned for that. But have a great Sunday. I appreciate you all. Remember, our last chance pre-order runs until tomorrow. Tomorrow is your last day to get any of the prints that are in the last chance pre-order for 2025. They will not be back. Okay, along with our bases, our Luxe Sateen and our Sport Lycra and our Brush Cotton. Those 3 bases are going away. Okay. Simple, you got some pics. You need to send them to me. All right. Yes, please post your goosies when you're finished. Make sure you tag me and you tag Kristen over at Woolly Petals so she can see them. And thanks so much for joining me today. Have a good one.